Hi there, Flat Cap Chef here, and today I'm going to show you how to make a caramelised mushroom and onion tart. So fairly simple to do. I've got two normal white onions. I've chopped those up, and they're now just in a little oil in the pan for about 5 or 10 minutes to soften them down. I've got my mushrooms. I've got a mixture of mushrooms. It doesn't really matter which ones you've got. These are leftovers from something else. I've got about 500 grams of mushrooms. I've got some garlic. Now, one will give it some flavour. I want a bit more flavour, so I'm going to put 4 cloves of garlic in there. I'm going to put some thyme in there. I'm going to use a little bit of sugar to caramelise the mushrooms and the onions, and then put in my fridge, keep it in the fridge till you need it, some already rolled puff pastry. Don't take the pastry out until you need it, otherwise it will go soft and sticky and it'll be really difficult to work. So I've got my onions sweating over there, and in a moment they'll be ready for the onions to go in. So I'm going to take my mushrooms here. I'm not going to chop them all in front of you, but literally I'm just going to roughly chop them. The way I find to do it is to kind of go 1, 2, 3 cuts. 1, 2 cuts, and now I've got reasonable sized chunks. If you do them too small, they'll just disintegrate and you end up with a sort of puddle of water. So you don't want to do them too small. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and we end up with decent sized chunks. So I'm going to do that for the rest of my mushrooms, and then I'll be back. Okay, so here are my onions. Been now just gently frying and softening down in the oil for about 15-20 minutes. So I've done this colour. And now I'm just going to add my chopped mushrooms in a moment, but first I'm going to add some caster sugar. If you don't have caster sugar, then just use normal sugar. It's okay. If you're opening something like this, open it over the pan, stops all the bits that are causing the packet going everywhere. I'm going to put 4 tablespoons of, this is to do the caramelising of the onions and the mushrooms. You need to add water to it because the mushrooms, and here they are, nicely chopped, will release lots of liquid, which will do the caramelising now. It always looks like you've got a mountain of mushrooms, but they sweat down to a lot smaller quantity, so we'll see that. So here's my mountain of mushroom. And just stir things around so that we get these mixed together. Keep this on, I'm putting this on 7.5, reasonably high heat, because we want these mushrooms to quickly start to sweat. You can see, even as I move them around, that the volume is reducing as they immediately start to pick up the heat and start to lose some of the moisture. The idea is we're going to do this for probably 5 to 10 minutes. Basically you want them to have dried out, so you don't want loads of liquid sloshing around in your pan. So once that's happened, we'll be back. So about 5-10 minutes. Okay, so these have been doing 5 to 6 minutes now, and I've kept moving them with a spoon just to keep them stirred around, and just to show you what I mean about the liquid now which has come out. We now need to sweat off. If I tip the pan like this, move it up there, hopefully you can see here all this liquid that's in there. That's got to, that's got to now sweat off, otherwise we'll end up with a soggy tart, which will not be good. So we'll let it now run for about 4 or 5 minutes to sweat this all off. Okay, so that's nearly ready now. It's nearly evaporated off, so I'm just going to show you quickly the garlic. So I've got my clothes here, remembering how to do it. So it'll push down, and that should release the skin, which it does. Whoa, hello. It's trying to get away from me. There we go. Skin to one side, and then fingers behind. So I just want this roughly dropped. Keep fingers out of the way. Turn it around sideways. Same approach. There we go. And now we go back over. See that now there's not too much steam coming off it. Now I'm going to put my garlic in. And I'm going to put about 2 good tablespoons of thyme. This is dried, don't want fresh, not fresh. 3 or 4 good sprigs with the leaves, and chop the leaves up, and we'll be in a good place. And now I've got on my spoon. Oh, there it is, it's in the pan. So we'll give it a quick stir around. And the smell, smells lovely actually. Just going to give this 3 or 4 minutes. Let that garlic up, let that really cook properly. So we'll do 3 or 4 minutes now to get the flavour through with a quick little sprinkle of salt and a grind of pepper. I like a good grind of pepper, a little bit of heat, another stir, and I'm going to leave that for another 3 to 4 minutes at most, and then I'll be back. Okay, so that's now been running for 3 or 4 minutes. It's now lovely and dry, there's no loose liquid, so we can switch that off. We can then leave it to cool, don't want it too hot for later when it goes on top. You can actually stick this in the fridge and keep it there for 24 hours, so you can really prep this ahead. So next we're going to look at preparing the pastry. Okay, so now it's the pastry. I've got a sheet of pastry, literally just laid it out on a metal tray. I'm going to do scoring with a knife about 1 centimetre in from the edges, which will mean that it will end up with a nice puffed up edge. There we go. So you see the score marks on there. I'm going to pop that back into the fridge in a moment after we just prick the base, because this is puff pastry, we don't want it to puff up on the base. So give it a few pricks with a fork. There we go. Back in the fridge for 10 minutes and I'll be back. Okay, so it's been now, it's chilled in the fridge for 10 minutes. I've got the filling that we did earlier. Just going to pile it in the middle. There we go. Lots of onion and mushroom and garlic. Spread that out. Try to keep it off the edges. There we go. And then I've got some egg wash, so just 1 beaten egg. Here, there we go. I've got my oven set to 200, fan 220 if you haven't. So here we go. Just a little bit around here. Lots of egg all over it, which is superb. Now, that is going to pop into that oven for about 15 minutes and then we'll be back. Okay, so there it's been in the oven for about 12 minutes. You've got the lovely, lovely puffed up piece here. Fantastic mushrooms in the middle. It smells delicious. So, that's the how to do a caramelised mushroom and onion tart. If you want to see more, then just register. It's free. Subscribe. There's no fee. You just get mentioned. Just get notified when I publish the next video, and I'll be back soon with something else to really tickle the taste buds.